today we're going to make a cover for a mini composition book. So this is just a little itty bitty notebook. Dimensions are 4.5 by 3.25. I bought these at Walmart. You can get them pretty much anywhere, Target, Walmart, Amazon, you name it. It came in a pack of 3, very reasonable to get. So you'll need, for supplies, you're going to need just a regular tearaway stabilizer. You will need either some roll-off batting. I just used a little piece of fleece. 6.5 by 10 inches is what I cut. You'll need a piece of fabric, again 6.5 by 10 for both of these. These are my lining and my main color. And then for the little flaps that are going to keep the notebook in place, I have 2 6.5-inch squares folded in half, pressed with an iron to make that seam. So 2 of those. If you want a little piece of elastic to help keep that book closed when you're done, I have just the 1/4 inch elastic, and I haven't measured it yet, about 8 inches of that. Okay, those are the items you'll need. The embroidery file is for sale on my Etsy shop. I will put a link to that at the end of the video here. So what you'll do then is sew color number 1 is going to just be your placement. So go ahead and stitch that out. So when it prompts you to change the color, don't worry about changing thread color. This is just your placement for the project. Place your batting or your fleece, whatever you're using for that batting, right over that placement line, and then take your main color, this will be the exterior of your project, and place that over, just making sure that you're covered those placement lines. Make sure it lays nice and smooth. Go ahead and press start, and that'll secure this in place, and it'll stitch it all the way around that whole perimeter, just making sure that it lays smooth the whole time. I need to change my bobbin, but anyway, stitch that all the way around. So the third color prompt will be the color used for the quilted portion. Go ahead and press start. And that'll quilt all the way through. It does both sides at the same time, and so it'll stop when it's ready for that next step. So you'll see the quilting is done, and it also then gave 4 little notches that extend past this placement line. That's where your pockets are going to be lined up with. If you're choosing to add some elastic to help keep your little booklet closed, this is the time to do it. So I have 8 inches of elastic, folded it in half, making sure that it's all in line and not twisted of any sort. And I'm just going to go ahead and center that here. And I'm just eyeballing it, and then I have some tape, and I'm just going to tape that here so that it stays in place. Okay, now you can line up your pockets. Go ahead and take the folded edge and have that be towards the center, and just kind of line that up with those 4 notches that extend past that placement line. And same for the other side. Raw edges go on the outside of the project. When you do this next step, it's going to secure those pockets. If you wanted to tape them in place, you certainly can. Just kind of stay away from that exterior placement line so that it doesn't get stitched in place, that tape. Sometimes I just hold it. That's what I'm going to do now, just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Just be mindful of this corner over here. Sometimes when it comes from here to over here, sometimes that fabric doesn't always go underneath that presser foot and it gets kind of wonky. So just be cautious, slow it down, and let it do its thing. So go ahead and start. Oh, hold on, I jumped colors here. Hold on. We're going to start color number 4. And I am having all sorts of issues right now. Now my thread is out. Got it. Okay, color number 4 secures those pockets. Just making sure that stays nice and flat. And then watching this corner here, because that's the one that might get caught. Just want to make sure it stays underneath that presser foot, and it did, so I'm set. All right, the final color is your lining, yes. So last piece of material, face down, nice and flat over your project area. Go ahead and start that last color and stitch that all the way around. Once that finishes, you will notice that it didn't stitch all the way around. It left this open spot here. You're going to need that when you turn the project right side out. So go ahead and pop this out of your hoop and take your stabilizer off. Go ahead and trim around the perimeter, leaving about 1/4 of an inch around the seams. I usually kind of, when I get to this spot here, angle it out so I have more room to work with when I do that closure. And then snip your corners so that you're able to poke them out a little bit cleaner. All right, so I have my stabilizer ripped off, my corners clipped, my raw edges trimmed about 1/4 of an inch around, a little bit longer where that opening area is. Go ahead and turn your project right side out. Sometimes that's a battle of patience here. With the corners, if you want to take like a crochet hook or something to help them stick out and just push, give them a little push to them so they look a little bit more clean and crisp, you certainly can do that. Don't use the scissors, then you'll just poke a hole right through and you have to start all over again. So crochet hook works well, or if you just have a regular ink pen, a clickable one, and don't click it and then just use that and give a little push on those corners, you're going to get a more crisp of a corner there. Once you get your corners pushed out all the way, almost done here, bear with me. You'll take your, you can see here my quilted portion and my pockets are on the wrong side, so all you do is just flip them over so that they're on the right side, or inside, however you want to say that. And then there's my elastic. That tape just came off on its own, that's perfect. I was going to rip it off anyway. Then on that open area, you'll just tuck in those raw edges. And you want to make sure that it is nice and flat across. Go ahead and pin that in place and then just top stitch that area either by hand or with your sewing machine. Once you do that, you are done. All you have to do then is insert your book. Best way to do that is to have it kind of go back on itself like that. Put those into the little flaps and you're done. The elastic then can be wrapped around like this to keep it closed.